Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life where effort no longer moves a mountain, where logic runs out, doors remain shut, and striving seems to deepen the struggle. And in that moment, when your hands are empty and your heart is weary, you are closer to the answer than ever before. Because the secret is not in trying harder. The secret is not in the noise of worry or the weight of desperation. The secret is this: give it to God and stop worrying. Not the God out there, unreachable and hidden, but the God within you, the creative power that imagined the world into existence and still speaks in whispers through your desires, your dreams, your visions. You were never asked to figure it all out. You were never meant to carry the how. You were simply called to believe, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and rest in the quiet confidence that He will do the impossible. So today I invite you to release the fear, the control, the need to understand every detail, and instead awaken to the truth that what you dare to imagine with faith, you will one day walk in with your feet. Let go. And watch what happens when you truly give it to God. God dwells within as your imagination. You have searched far and wide for answers. You've prayed to the skies, pleaded with the universe, begged circumstances to shift. But the true power, the only real power, has been with you all along, closer than breath, deeper than thought. The secret is this: God dwells within you as your imagination. Most people are trained to believe that God is external, some distant force in the clouds deciding our fate. But what if I told you that the creator of your world is not separate from you, but lives through you, not as a voice of thunder, but as a silent shaping force behind every desire, every dream, every vision you've ever had? Your imagination is not idle fantasy. It is divine activity. It is the womb of creation. When you imagine, you are not pretending, you are creating, you are moving the invisible into form. Everything you now see in the outer world once lived in the unseen realm, within someone's mind, someone's inner conviction. And so it is with your life. If you want to change your experience, you must begin not with action, but with assumption. The sacred act of imagining something so vividly, so confidently, that your world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your vision. This is not wishful thinking, it is the divine law, as within, so without. When you accept that your imagination is the presence of God within you, everything changes. You stop begging for change and start declaring it. You stop asking how and start saying thank you. You understand that when you see yourself in a new light, in health, in peace, in abundance, you are not daydreaming, you are sowing the seeds of reality. But here's the challenge. The world will not immediately reflect your inner change. There will be a delay, a space between imagination and manifestation. This is the time to stand firm, not to doubt, not to worry, but to trust. Trust that what you saw within will be called forth into the light of day, as surely as the sun follows night. This is the test of faith. Not in something outside of you, but in the God that you are. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of chance. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the operant power in your world, because the very power that created galaxies now waits silently on your command, in your imagination. So stop looking out there, go within, enter the state of the wish fulfilled. Close your eyes and see not the world as it is, but as you desire it to be. Feel it, believe it, dwell in it. That feeling, that quiet, radiant knowing is the presence of God. And when you give it to Him, the Him that lives in you, and stop worrying, the impossible becomes not just possible, but inevitable. I showed the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The greatest secret in life is that you do not get what you want. You get what you are. You do not manifest your desires by pleading for them, nor by working endlessly in desperation. You manifest them by embodying them. Now, the key is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when everything around you says it's impossible. This is where most people stumble. They look at what is and let it dictate what can be. But the moment you let your senses be the final authority, you have given away your power. The outer world is only a reflection, a shadow cast by your inner state. If you wish to see a new outcome, you must not wait for evidence. You must begin with belief. Not belief in a vague hope, but in a felt reality, an emotional conviction that what you desire is already yours. So how do you do it? You close your eyes and go within. You imagine the scene that would be true if your desire were already fulfilled. Not the moment you get it, but the moment after. The peace, the gratitude, the relief of it being done. You hear the words a loved one might say. You see the environment, the details, the colors. But most importantly, you feel it. You don't just think about your desire. You become one with it. This is not fantasy. This is creation. This is the sacred work of aligning with the version of yourself who already possesses what you now seek. When you sustain that feeling, when you walk through your day with that inner assurance, the world must bow to it. It must bring you the people, places, and events that match your assumption, because you've already claimed it in spirit. What holds people back is the belief that nothing is happening. They say, I tried to imagine, but nothing changed. And that's where the doubt creeps in. But let me tell you this, the moment you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, something begins to move. Invisible currents start shifting. Circumstances begin to rearrange. You may not see it immediately, but the seed has been planted. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't see the roots growing underground, but they are. And if you dig it up every day to check, you kill the process. The same goes for your desires. Once you assume it, let it be. Stay loyal to the feeling. Return to it when doubts arise. Speak from it. Think from it. Live from it. You are not pretending. You are preparing. You are creating a new inner world. And because your imagination is divine, that inner world must eventually become your outer experience. So stop wishing, stop waiting, and instead step into the state of fulfillment now. Smile as though it's done, rest as though it's settled, walk as though it's yours, because spiritually it already is. That's the secret. Live from the end, and the end will come. Surrender the how. That is not your work. One of the greatest blockages to answered prayer, to fulfill dreams, to divine manifestation, is the need to know how it will happen. The moment we try to control the how, we step out of faith and into fear. We begin calculating, doubting, worrying, trying to bend the universe to our limited understanding. But the truth is liberating. The how is not your work. Your work is to believe. When you plant a seed in the soil, you do not sit and analyze how the roots will spread, how the sun will activate the cells, how the rain will reach the core. You simply plant it, water it, and trust the process. Your desire works the same way. When you imagine it fulfilled, when you feel the joy, peace, and gratitude of it already done, you have done your part. From there, life takes over. The unseen power begins to arrange what is needed for that vision to unfold. You are not the orchestrator of every detail. You are the initiator. You speak the word, and the word becomes flesh. Not because you figure it out, but because you dared to believe without seeing. The bridge of incidents, the unfolding events, meetings, delays, surprises, and apparent coincidences will rise to meet your inner assumption. And often it will happen in ways you could never have planned. This is why worry must be released. Worry is simply an argument against your own belief. It is the mind's attempt to control what only Spirit can orchestrate. When you say, I don't see how this can happen, you are really saying, I don't trust the higher power within me. But remember, what is impossible to you is effortless to the divine. Miracles begin when control ends. Letting go of the how is not passivity, it is alignment. It is the bold declaration, I may not know the way, but I know it will be. That confidence, that surrender is the birthplace of the impossible. Some will say, but what if nothing happens? To that I say, something already is. The moment you assumed the wish fulfilled, the invisible gears began to turn. The how is moving behind the curtain. And just like the curtain rises at the appointed time, so too will the manifestation. But it comes when you release your grip on logic and relax into faith. Surrender does not mean doing nothing. It means doing the one thing that matters, dwelling in the end. Think from your desire. Act as one who has already received. And when action is required in the outer world, you will know it. It won't be forced or frantic. It will feel inspired, obvious, right. So let this be your freedom. You don't need to figure it all out. Your job is not the bridge. Your job is the vision. The rest is handled by the unseen power that knows every connection, every path, every perfect unfolding. Release the how, hold the vision, and watch the impossible unfold, step by divine step. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Faith is not merely believing that something might happen. It is the deep, unshakable knowing that it already has, even when no physical evidence has yet appeared. Faith is not a wish or a hope. It is loyalty, unwavering loyalty to the unseen reality that you have dared to accept as true. It is a spiritual commitment to what your inner eye has seen, even when your outer eyes are filled with contradiction. To live by faith is to walk a higher path. The world teaches you to believe only in what you can touch, prove, or measure. But creation doesn't begin with evidence. It begins with imagination and trust. Everything visible was once invisible. Every structure, every invention, every healing, every dream fulfilled. Each of them began first in the unseen, in the silent space of someone's belief. When you imagine a life of peace, of wholeness, of abundance, you are not escaping reality. You are aligning with a deeper one. The spiritual world precedes the physical. What you persist in imagining with conviction and emotion must come to pass. But to receive it, you must be loyal, not to the fear, not to the doubt, not to the delay, but to the end you have already seen within. This is the essence of faith, holding the feeling of the wish fulfilled when everything says it's not working. Faith is showing up with praise when the account is still empty. It's feeling love when the relationship isn't yet restored. It's walking tall as healed, even while symptoms still shout otherwise. Faith is blind to facts and loyal to truth. The truth that what you have assumed within will take form without. And make no mistake, there will be tests. The world will offer reasons to give up, to settle, to shrink. But each of those moments is an invitation to deepen your faith. Will you believe what your senses say, or will you remain loyal to what your spirit knows? You must learn to say with full authority, though I do not yet see it, I know it is done. That inner declaration carries a power that moves mountains. It is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is agreement with God, that inner creative force that never fails. Doubt is not your enemy. It's a signal. It shows you where your faith still has room to grow. Don't resist it. Answer it. When doubt comes, go back within. Revisit the scene you've imagined. Feel it again. Taste the joy, the relief, the gratitude. Remind yourself, this is more real than what I see. Why? Because it is yours in spirit, and spirit always precedes form. Faith doesn't beg. It doesn't plead. It declares. It thanks. It rests. The one who has faith knows that the seed is planted. They don't dig it up to check its progress. They water it with gratitude. They nourish it with praise. They protect it from weeds of fear and comparison. And they wait not passively, but expectantly. Understand this. Your faith is not in a far-off being, but in the power that lives within you. That power is waiting on your permission, your assumption, your persistence. When you truly believe, you set that power into motion, and the delay, that's not denial. It's divine timing. It's the unfolding of a path that serves your highest good. Let the world call it impossible. Let them mock what they cannot see. Your role is not to convince others. It is to remain convinced within yourself. Faith is not about being perfect. It's about being steadfast. Return to the vision daily. Speak from it. Feel from it. React to life through its lens. When you are tempted to doubt, return to your center. Go within. Reclaim the state of the wish fulfilled. Your unseen reality is not a fancy. It is the blueprint of your future. And when you hold that blueprint with love and certainty, the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. That is the law. So stand tall in your faith. Be loyal to what only you can see. The world may take time to catch up, but it must catch up. Reality bends to the one who believes. And when it comes, when what you imagine bursts into form, you will smile, not in surprise, but in reverence, because you always knew your inner state shapes the outer world. The world you see with your eyes is not the cause of your experience, it is the effect. It is not the master, but the mirror. What you encounter in your external life is nothing more than a reflection of your internal state of being. Change your inner world, your assumptions, your moods, your beliefs, and your outer world must follow. It is law, immutable, unbreakable, always at work, whether you're conscious of it or not. Too often, we seek to change the outer by force. We manipulate circumstances, chase relationships, hustle for money, fight symptoms, beg for attention, all in the hope that something out there will give us peace in here. But it doesn't work that way. That is living in reverse. That is building a house from the roof down. The real shift happens when you reverse the order. When you go within first, when you change your state and let the world respond. Everything in life flows from the state you dwell in. If you live from a state of lack, then lack must be your experience, no matter how hard you try. If you live from a state of fear, you will see threats where there are none. But if you shift to a state of abundance, of confidence, of peace, then your world begins to mirror that frequency. People treat you differently, opportunities find you, solutions appear. Why? Because the outer must conform to the inner. This is why imagination is sacred. It allows you to inhabit the state before the evidence appears. You do not wait for the world to give you permission to feel free or joyful or successful. You claim those feelings first. You step into the version of yourself who has already received the desire. You think as that version, feel as that version, respond as that version, and then life bends to meet you. Your emotions are not random. They are messengers. They tell you which state you're occupying. If you're constantly anxious, that's a sign you're living from a state of fear or unworthiness. But you don't have to stay there. You can pause, go within, and shift. You can select a new state the way you choose a new garment. You can say, no, I will not live from this worry. I will return to peace. I will return to the knowing that all is well. And when you do that, even before anything has changed on the outside, you have already begun the transformation. The world simply has to catch up. But the process is subtle. It doesn't shout. It doesn't announce itself. That's why so many people give up too soon. They change their inner state briefly, then panic when the outer doesn't move instantly. But remember, your reality is shaped by your dominant state, not your fleeting moods. A passing moment of faith is not enough. You must dwell in the new state, live in it, return to it each day. And over time, it becomes your natural home. This is a secret that many never discover. You are not the victim of circumstances. You are the cause of them. Not through effort, but through alignment. You do not beg life to change. You become the person for whom it must change. Speak differently, think differently, feel differently, walk through your life as though it is already done. Let your inner conversations reflect the end you've seen. If your inner dialogue is filled with fear, anger, doubt, or defeat, you will see those energies mirrored back. But if your thoughts are laced with gratitude, expectation, and confidence, then your world becomes fertile ground for the impossible to manifest. You are always creating, always. The question is not if you are shaping your world, but how. Are you doing it consciously with intention or unconsciously through worry, habit, and fear? You can begin again at any moment. Right now, you can choose to enter a new state. You can close your eyes and step into the feeling of love or peace or prosperity. You can dwell in it for 5 minutes and then carry it with you throughout your day. That is not wishful thinking. That is spiritual creation. And in time, your world will change, not because you forced it, but because you became the version of yourself for whom it could not stay the same. So never forget, your outer world is the servant, your inner world is the master. Shape the inner with intention, and the outer will follow with obedience. You are the sculptor, you are the cause, you are the living expression of God in action. And once you give it to Him, once you give it to that divine force within, and stop worrying, the impossible becomes inevitable.